Welcome to The Terrible Take, a daily segment telling Steeler Nation what's on our minds. I'm Melanie Friedlander. As part of the Steelers' league transactions yesterday, the team placed newly acquired cornerback William Jackson III on injured reserve. Traded by the Washington Commanders just before the deadline on November 1st, Jackson drove 3 hours that evening to join his teammates. He practiced with them on the field the following day, the Wednesday of their bye week. He has been unable to practice again before hitting IR and will now miss a minimum of 4 games. Per Jerry Dulac, the Steelers would no longer owe a conditional 2025 seventh-round draft pick to Washington because he won't play in the number of games specified in the trade deal. The question now remains whether Pittsburgh will receive the 2025 sixth-round draft pick. And more importantly, will they see any other value in having taken on Jackson's remaining salary for this season? It all comes down to the seriousness of his back injury. Up until this year, Jackson has been a very reliable player in terms of availability. He missed a few games during his years with the Bengals due to shoulder injury and concussion. In 2021, his first season with the Commanders, he was out 2 weeks prior to the bye with a knee injury and missed the final 3 games of the season with ankle and calf issues. There isn't much detail known about his back injury. After a full week of practice heading into their Week 3 road game in Buffalo, Jackson was added to the injury report that Friday with a back injury and listed as questionable. He did not play that Sunday. In weeks 4 and 5, he practiced fully all week and did not have an injury designation on Friday. He started both games but left the Week 5 contest in the first half. The team did not provide an injury update during the game, but that's not their habit anyway. In Week 6, the IR was pointing down, as his practice participation dropped from full to limited to did not practice. That DNP status remained over the next 2 weeks, and he arrived in Pittsburgh. When Jackson met with the media after joining the Steelers, he said his back was nearly 100% and he was looking forward to getting on the field. At that point, it seemed possible and even likely that Washington head coach Ron Rivera had actually sidelined the player because he was trying to keep him healthy for the trade they had been attempting for weeks. Now it appears that the back injury is actually a lingering issue, and it's not clear if Jackson will be able to jump on new head coach Mike Tomlin's moving train, even if he does get healthy enough to play this season. Whatever happens, the trade wasn't a disaster. Up against the deadline, the Steelers didn't have time for a repeat MRI or any in-depth medical evaluation. They had to take a chance on a player they wanted before he was released and became a free agent. So far, it hasn't gone how they hoped. But no, I don't think the team made a mistake. Worst case scenario, the Steelers won't get the pick promised to them depending on how the deal was written, and they spend a little money on his prorated salary. He has 1 more year on his contract, and the Steelers won't owe any money until the 2023 new league year begins, which gives Omar Khan time to release him or renegotiate his deal if they want to keep him around. It would have been nice to see Jackson on the field and see if he is still the player the Steelers had hoped to take in the first round of the 2016 draft. But in a year where the team is currently at 2-6, developing the younger players on the roster isn't a bad idea either. All in all, we have to wait and see how it plays out, but it wasn't a terrible mistake by the team. That's my take. You can follow me on Twitter @GirlSurgeon. Check out The Terrible Take every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow us on SteelersDepot.com and check out The Terrible Podcast with Dave Bryan and Alex Kozora every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.